Hello, Endersword here again, this time with a Gold League game. This one is actually one of the final games, the final game from the Sticky Flames tournament on Zeek.com. If you haven't heard of them, they're really great guys. They run a series of tournaments pretty much every day on Zeek.com. They do StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and League of Legends. They also divide them by the ranks. So this one is from the Bronze, Silver, and Gold League tournament that they run. They also do Gold, Platinum, and Diamond, as well as Masters. And they run not just Open, but some invitational tournaments for League of Legends, Dota, and StarCraft 2. Anyway, to this game, we're going to be following Green T here, our Terran player in blue in the top left-hand corner. And his opponent, it's going to be a really fun TvT with Die in Style. And you can see the fun part there already. We're going to have the SCVs running off to get up to some shenanigans. So it leads us to our first key point on this. We'll be following Green T. And it's really key that when you go to scout, you actually absorb the scouting information, that you actually respond to it and alter what you're going to do according to what you actually see. Sometimes you won't alter it. You'll see, okay, this is what I expected. I'm going to continue to do what I'm going to do. But obviously that won't be the case in this game. We're going to see something weird and unexpected out of our opponent. The second thing to look at is target priority throughout this game. There's a few cases where Green Tea is just not quite attacking the right thing, and we'll kind of see that develop as it comes up, and that can really make a lot of difference between winning or losing a game. Sometimes just knowing what to actually focus down, what the key thing in that situation is, and kind of adjusting accordingly. Die in Style a little bit later in getting this second barracks down here. The third thing that we're going to look at is that you want to continue to add production throughout the game. As your economy actually improves, as you get into a better situation, and just as your supply allows it and everything in the game situation allows it, you want to be adding on more barracks, more factories, more starports, things like that, to make sure that you can pump out more of an army and replace what you have at an increasing rate. Just because you may end up ahead doesn't mean that you should take your foot off the gas on that, and you should definitely be continuing to expand your economy outwards and expanding your production, and we'll see that a little later in the game as well. So checking in here, we've got a factory going down. Our Green Tea player has proxied a barracks out, not really proxy, but just kind of put one out in his base to kind of throw off his opponent. But at this point, he's kind of aware of what's happening. He knows that there's nothing in this base. He hasn't seen any of this. He's already been over here to scout this area and see that, well, he's not doing the same thing I'm doing. But have we reacted to anything? He has no idea what's going on. He can't really assume, oh, well, he didn't make a barracks then. That's what I'm going to figure. He just didn't bother to make one, so I'm going to tech up. In this situation where you don't know what your opponent is doing, is it really appropriate to stick on the one barracks and just decide to tech up to that? In this case, not really. These are now here. The barracks are in place. He did attack a little sooner than probably he meant to with this Marauder. Likely that was now in range so he could see everything. But odds are he wanted at least to get the 3 Marauders out before actually engaging into anything. The SCV's coming out, getting this around here, but things are just a little out of place. These Marines are not coming in to help with this entire attack. That's kind of throwing a few things away. He didn't have to lose as many SCVs there. There could have been Marines in to help. Didn't need to pull as many, and certainly didn't need to pull that mule or all these guys for that long. The SCVs are clearly not going to be targeting down the barracks. You're not going to want to invest them for that period of time. Here on the target priority basis, he's still just focused firing down this barracks. We're re-pulling the SCVs to deal with that Marauder, and just the wrong things are being targeted. In this case, the Tech Lab now, instead of this Marauder, instead of making sure that this gets damaged a little more. Ultimately, of course, does clean this up. That wasn't really the best execution. The barracks did kind of go down a little slow, particularly the second one. Took a while to float up there, and the position of the starport kind of preempted the plan a little bit. I think he would have liked to have waited a little bit longer until he had the 3 Marauders out, and then maybe he could have had a slightly stronger impact on that. But still did kill a lot of mining time off there. He's not so far behind on everything. His workers are obviously a fair bit back. He's at a disadvantage for sure. He's going to have to walk these back across the map or float them across the map. This one may burn down, but he is sending an SCV out to get it. And our Terran player in blue is sending out a very, very minimal force out onto the map. It would be nice to maybe have built that up a little more, or really in the interim, given that he knew that there must be some sort of proxy or some sort of early attack out on the map, there really should have been the additional barracks going up so that there could be more bio actually coming with this. The tank is nice to have here, but a handful of like 6 to 8 Marines may have actually ended up being preferable, or you don't really even have to do one or the other. He's kind of got the money available. We've got 500 minerals, 200 gas available out here. There's no reason that he actually had to pick. So this small force, great to come in and take a poke at everything here, does take out a few more Marines, stops a bunker from going up, some SCVs, but ultimately just loses that. Whereas if we kept our production going throughout, or responded a little better to the initial scouting information, then that may have worked out a little better for him. Does get the siege tech up there, and siege is up on the low ground. I do like that positioning there. We've got the medevac in place that can go for this supply depot, but again, is that the correct target that we actually want at this point? It may have made more sense to clean up some of these Marines, not actually lose the few Marines that we did have available, but again, we've got a tank supported by a single little dude here because we are focus firing down a depot that's just not that crucial. Is it very likely that he's going to be supply blocked right now? Again, target firing some of these while this thing is almost burning down. He actually makes it in and saves this. You could have taken out an entire barracks, but again, just not really picking the correct targets here. As we check back at the main base, you can see that we've still only got the 1 barracks, 2 barracks, factory, and a starport. In his opponent's base, we've got the same things with an additional barracks that did just get destroyed, but how is your opponent's actual production capability better than your own? The command center is actually completed and turned into an orbital. Obviously he's being overrun at this point, but what if he was able to actually get something up and out in time? What if this Banshee came out and was able to kind of swing around, pick off tanks, or he had been researching cloak behind this, or anything really like that? It's kind of late in the game. It's certainly possible that that could have happened. Doesn't ultimately do anything with it, but you don't want to take your foot off the gas here. It's obviously, yes, it is a 1 situation. He probably did know that he was winning the game, but just when you look at those buildings, you can see he's not as far ahead as maybe he thought he was. And as he moves in here for the kill, ultimately going to knock everything out. We're down to just 5 SCVs on this Terran side. He's focus firing down the command center there instead of some of the SCVs. And die in style, did kind of die in style there with a nice little proxy attempt that was maybe just a little mistimed on that. Had he gotten them out a little bit quicker, or maybe was able to get the 3 Marauders out before really attacking, then maybe he could have done something there. But unfortunately, it did get caught as the first one got onto the map and started attacking a starport there, was able to get the good SCV surround on that, and Green Tea does end up winning the tournament. And I believe some coaching with GZ Swanson, who you can see is one of the casters for this weekly tournament, along with Not Enough Mins and SF Jiroko, who is a main admin and usually the observer on these games. So anyone that doesn't know, please check out the folks at Zeek.com. They are Sticky Flames there. This is a group that runs on Zeek.com. As you can see all about them, they run tournaments just all the time. They do bronze, silver, gold tournaments where there's a prize of an hour of coaching with Swanson usually. A Masters Challenge they do with a $50 first place prize. They do qualifiers, or an invitational qualifier for League of Legends tournaments, weekly StarCraft 2 tournaments, Dota 2 tournaments. You can see that they have decent prize pools on some of these. Some of them are coaching. Some of them are invitations to other tournaments that do then have a prize pool. For instance, I find this one really neat. The Gold, Platinum, and Diamond tournament that they do each week. The top 4 spots are actually invited into an invitational tournament that has a $150 prize pool that they run about once a month or so. So that's kind of a neat concept. It lets you join a tournament for that level, which is usually full of like Smurfs and stuff whenever there is a prize pool involved. But because of the structure of it, they can kind of have a tournament as a qualifier, decide who's going to get into the invitational in that, and if someone seems fishy or they're just way too high level, they can obviously filter that out. And then when you're in the part of the tournament that does have the prize pool, you kind of know that you're with people that are approximately the level that they actually should be. So it's kind of a neat way to go about it. And of course, if you're interested in the other games as well, definitely check these guys out. They've always been a big help to us at Esports Canada, and a big help to me for sending me these replays that they do each week. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope that helps.